Welcome back to Black News Tonight. Many called the nationwide protests after the murder of George Floyd a racial reckoning. But a recent New York Times guest essay argues, even though whites and Republicans showed strong support for Black Lives Matter right after George Floyd's murder, that trend, it quickly went the opposite direction. The authors say, and I quote, "Since last summer, Republicans and white people have actually become less supportive of Black Lives Matter than they were before the death of George Floyd, a trend that seems unlikely to reverse anytime soon." To discuss this and more, I'm now joined by Professor Tricia Rose. She's the director of Brown University's Center for the Study of Race and Ethnicity in America. She's also the co-host of my favorite podcast, The Tightrope, which explores African American history and politics with Cornel West. Tricia Rose, so good to see you. Talk to me about this racial reckoning. I'm old enough to remember a year ago when everybody told me America had come to racial maturity, and now I'm hearing the numbers are dipping. How do we make sense of that?
Yeah, Mark, it's great to see you, and thanks. I'm really glad you love The Tightrope. I love your show too. People like to imagine that a moment of extreme excess and violence that might generate a more collective outrage is somehow a dramatic tipping point in perspective. And I think that's really where we go wrong. Certainly, there's so much horror in the face of what happened to George Floyd that it wouldn't surprise me that there was a broader collaborative sort of agreement that this was too much. But the mistake that people make is that imagining that that can be sustained just based on what happened to George Floyd. You have to be able to put it in such a bigger context and accept all kinds of terms. So no, this wasn't a settlement. It wasn't a clarification. It wasn't a settling of real reckoning with the racial condition that we're in.
Would it be an overstatement to say that people just had profound empathy because of the gruesome spectacle that they were forced to see for 9 minutes? I mean, is it that simple that some white folk were just like, I don't know about racism, I don't know about white supremacy, but that thing I just was forced to see was wrong?
Definitely, I think that's a critical part, that it was a kind of depravity that transcended race in some ways for a lot of human beings. But I also think that it gave an authorization for many whites who wouldn't otherwise wade into those waters to be able to get a kind of racial litmus test, like, hey, I'm not really racist. I agree, this is too far. But I still think that we need to ask ourselves a much bigger question about why we thought this was going to be such a permanent turning point. In other words, why would a spectacle of extreme violence be the tipping point? Have we not seen enough of it? Right? How much do we have to see?
That's an interesting question. I want to unpack that a little bit, especially when we think about who the we is, right? Because are we talking about black people who continue to invest the kind of hope that America will turn a corner based on what's happened? Or is this a bigger kind of American self-image that as Americans we think that we're more conscious and more progressive and we become very self-satisfied with what we think our racial consciousness is?
I think African Americans and Black people in general, are looking for moments of solidarity with other people that can serve as a tipping point to create an infrastructure in which racial justice is the norm. And so anytime you can find an opportunity for that, to get a crack in the rock, to let some water of justice run through it, then you go for it. But I still think that, what this report reveals is that there's less support among whites and Republicans, which is an interesting distinction to make, by the way, but between whites and Republicans than they were even before George Floyd. So there's something that I think has happened throughout the process of demanding, the abolition of police, the defunding of the police, the notion that we have to be educated about race, and people are beginning to be uncomfortable because the kind of change that's needed is so profound that you have to, as a white person and as a person who doesn't study race and understand it, you have to become uncomfortable. And it's that discomfort that I think people are beginning to push back in the face of.
How much buy-in do we need from white people to advance? I mean, has there ever been a juncture in history where white people have said, hey, we're willing to do the work, we're willing to be uncomfortable in order to get suffrage, in order to get public accommodations, or whatever the thing might be? Or do we just move forward despite white people's reluctance or refusal?
There's a both and there, Mark, right? Yes, we need larger numbers of other groups of people. We still need white solidarity and agreement in the legal system, in the government. It's just not going to function. It's just not going to be successful without it. Does that mean we don't move forward until we have it? No, you move as forward as you can move, as fast as you can go, and you hope for as many alliances as possible. Where we want to be careful is in figuring out how not to change the fundamental political investment in change in order to gain support by some kind of mainstream apparatus. And on the other hand, to know that you have to make some sacrifices in order to make progress. So that's the fine line that I think we have to see. But I don't see us really surviving this at what, 10, 11, percent of the population without a lot of solidarity with lots of different groups of people, including many whites.
And that's a heck of a tightrope, pardon the pun, to have to walk here. And as I'm thinking about sort of what we have to do in terms of holding on to that radical freedom dream, but also getting the buy-in of other people, I'm thinking about something like abolition of prisons, right? I remember in Minneapolis, it was abolition, it was defunding, it was all these things, really a kind of real ambitious kind of freedom dream. And then the marches, as more liberals got involved, as more Democrats got involved, it was like, okay, well, we're not going to abolish, but we will defund. And it was like, well, we might not defund, but we might reform. By the time the march got to my city in Philadelphia, people were taking knees with police, and Nancy Pelosi was wearing kente cloth. And I'm like, to get the critical mass, have we lost the actual point? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I thought you were going to say they were doing the electric slide with the police, because I saw that too.
That was next. Yes.
That's a real issue that I think we have to be serious about. But I still think that what we're seeing over the course of the year is a reframing of the point that people were making, and that reframing we have to fight politically very hard for. The attacks on critical race theory that we're seeing around the country, and the idea that there's somehow a racial insult against whites, that diversity training is really about insulting and harming whites, is a very powerful way to move the conversation away from systemic racism and toward, sort of mistreatment of whites. But it also subverts the education process that's necessary in order to create a kind of racial equal playing field and collaboration for justice for all. So it's a very strategic and powerful move. And that motion from Minneapolis to your town and Philly is also about a change in what people feel they can say, because the pushback has been so sophisticated. So I think that's really where we want to spend a lot of our time.
I think you're right. Before you go, let me ask you a question. At this juncture in history, given what we've seen, given how the numbers are dipping, do you still remain hopeful that we will see, if not a racial reckoning, at least significant progress in the immediate future?
Well, I always remain hopeful, right? Because, there's a lot that has happened. I mean, if we were to really go back, a year and a half ago, we wouldn't have thought we could have brought so much awareness and transform what's a violent act into something potentially politically valuable and important. So I always remain hopeful. And, activists are incredibly, smart and persuasive, and they need as many allies as they can get. But I have a lot of hope about that. The thing that, when you say the near future, Mark, now I start hesitating a little bit, because to me, this is going to be a very bumpy, long road. And this idea that somehow we've had a reckoning and now we've got corporate support and, we're just going to fix everything and get 10% of our leadership to be Black and we'll all be set. That drive is a short-term, immediate response. Let's Band-Aid it. Let's paper it over. And I think we have to, in order to have any kind of genuine racial reckoning, we have to really understand this is a long distance run. We have to keep running. We have to keep fighting, but we can't expect that this is going to end soon. That expectation, I think, breeds more substantial disappointment.
I think you're absolutely right. Dr. Tricia Rose, thank you so much for joining me on Black News Tonight. We'll have you back real soon.